Core Justice, Chapter 16. Here we go. Chapter 16. Neil. The men headed straight ahead towards a long corridor lit by fluorescent track lighting. As they neared the room at the opposite end of the hallway, Brian inhaled sharply at the size of the place. It looked like a huge cavern. What the hell is this place? I told you, it's the Batcave. Head over to the left and that bunch of tables. At their approach, a slim man in glasses looked up from his work. He stood about 6 feet tall, slim, like he could have been an actor in Bollywood. Curiously, he wore a pair of black shades around his neck. Neil took off his reading glasses and walked over to Cal. He bent down to the wheelchair and hugged his friend. I'm so sorry, Cal. Thanks. Neil asked, is there anything I can do? Well, we'll get to that in a minute. First, I want you to meet my new friend. Neil nodded and stood back up. He looked over at Brian and extended his hand. Hey, Doc, I'm Neil Patel. He extended both arms. Welcome to the Batcave. Neil took the man's hand with some trepidation. Good to meet you, Neil. With some trepidation, I don't know why. Anyway, Neil smiled conspiratorially and explained, Don't look so shocked, Doc. Travis sent over your files before you got here. I know all about you. Oh, that's why, with trepidation, because all of a sudden he knew who he was. Sorry, I'm learning this just like you guys are right now. Brian looked a bit uncomfortable with the lopsided conversation, but kept his mouth shut. Cal stepped in before Neil could make Brian feel even more awkward. What are you working on? Neil gestured grandly to the nearest table and spoke in a mock British accent. Here we go, I get to do an accent. My new toys are waiting for your inspection, good sir. Okay, that's probably the last one I'm going to do. Cal shook his head and rolled himself over to the table. What is that? One of those remote control helicopters from Brookstone? Holy cow, now I'm just realizing. So this is like before drones were a big deal. So yeah, this this is back when you had remote control drones that you bought at Brookstone instead of Amazon or Target or Walmart. Neil made a face of mock indignation and continued in his English accent. Sir, how dare you accuse me of such a thing? What you see is the latest in nano-drone technology, courtesy of yours truly. He waved his arms before him and bowed slightly. Cal picked up that small helicopter-looking device. The thing fit in the palm of his hand and couldn't have been more than the size of a silver dollar in diameter. Where's the remote? Neil pulled off the pair of sunglasses from around his neck. Right here. He handed the black shades to Cal. If this was someone else, I'd think you were pulling my leg. But with you, I'm pretty sure you're not bullshitting me. Neil grinned. Nope, those sunglasses control the drone. Put them on. Cal did as he was told and put the glasses on. They looked and felt like a normal pair of sunglasses. You gonna tell me how this thing works? Push the emblem on the right side of the frame. Cal did so, and immediately the left-hand lens lit up. It looked like a freaking video game. He jumped back as the tiny blades on the drone kicked on and set it into a hover. You could have warned me about that. But then I couldn't have seen that silly look on your face. Okay, so what do I do now? You see the screen on the left, Neil asked. Yeah, said Cal. Use your eye and tell the drone where to go. Dude, I have no idea what you're talking about. Neil sounded exasperated, but excited. Just turn your head and look at something you want the drone to go to. Cal turned his head and could feel the drone lifting higher. That's when he noticed that the view in the left lens had changed. He was now seeing from the point of view of the drone. Holy shit. Neil beamed. I know, right? Cal directed the drone to a nearby set of cabinets. He realized that as he focused on the object, the drone would move closer. How do I keep this thing from running into stuff? You don't. It does. It has a proximity detector. With stationary objects, it's flawless. I'm still working out the kinks on non-stationary objects within the drone's environment. You know, like people running around on the battlefield, cars, animals, anything that moves. You can do that? Said Brian, sounding incredulous. Pretty easy, actually. Hey, Cal, just so you know, the technology in this thing is probably going to make us all a lot more money. We're thinking we can equip cars with it. Imagine, no more traffic accidents. Well, this is pretty cool. This is way before self-driving cars. And there's Neil Patel already inventing it. Cal could do nothing but smile with childish bewilderment. This little toy was too much fun. How do I get it to fly back? Just click that button on the side again and it'll go back to its charging dock over there on that desk. Cal pressed the button on the sunglasses again. Sure enough, the little drone found its way home, without guidance, to what looked like a miniature landing pad on one of the desks. He removed the shades and handed them back to Neil. How the hell did you come up with that? Actually, some of the technology's already been around for a while. Apache pilots have been able to control some of their weapon systems with monocles for years. I just made the system better. Who are you building it for? Brian asked. No one yet. All the small spy drones right now are way bigger than this little guy. I know there are some other companies in the hunt, but I think ours will be the best. Pretty sure it'll be an easy sell. I would have loved one of these over in the desert. Would have made fighting house to house a lot safer if I could send this guy in first. That's our target market for this thing, Neil said. I want to give the troops something that's cost effective and easy to use. A whole freaking platoon could have one of these things. Travis is talking to a couple commanders out in the field right now that are going to try it out free of charge. You got one that I can borrow? Cal asked. Neil cocked his head, making sure his friend wasn't messing with him. We've got a few almost ready. You can take that one if you want. Don't mind if I do. What are you doing for lunch? Neil pointed to the nearby fridge. What I always do. Work. How about you join Brian and me over at the lodge around noon? Sounds good, Neil said. Should I wear my drinking boots? In a word, yes. So there is Neil developing stuff that back when I wrote this, so let's see what the copyright is. 2012 was the first copyright on this book, so I wrote it back in 2011. I would love to go back and see what was actually on the market as far as drone technology, self-driving technology. Obviously, this isn't something that I thought of and invented in my head, but it was out there, but it was very much in its infancy. So it's very cool to see, now everybody can own a drone. I bought one last year, and it does pretty much everything that Neil's talking about. I mean, I don't have very cool sunglasses to use them, but sometimes it's cool when you write something in a story and it comes to fruition, whether it's something that happens out in the world or a cool piece of technology. So anyway, let's move on to the next chapter.